Cool. All right, good morning. Commissioners meeting Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. All commissioners are present.
Neeks.
Public comment is first. Looking around, seeing that there is no public here, so we're gonna move on. And next is elected officials and department head updates. So I'd like to start with Miss Order. Okay, like to see if, Doug, do you have anything aside from what you're on for?
No, I don't.
If we do need to start the day with a pledge of allegiance, we'll look to you because you have the flag right behind your head.
Neeks.
Yes, great idea.
Cheryl, do you have anything?
No, probably things is just, well, I have something on the agenda and then I maybe bring
Yeah,
up
we'll
what,
talk.
yeah,
We talked about it yesterday.
well, the treasury.
Yeah,
Just the agenda.
okay. And you?
I do. I need to request a non-FMLA leave of absence for one of our deputies. He is brand new with us since, March 3rd, but his wife, we knew when we hired him, his wife was expecting, and she's actually, being induced on Friday. And he's looking to take 3 weeks off to spend with his wife and the new baby. So I will be requesting a non-FMLA leave of absence for a period of 3 weeks.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Seeing now, almost.
Just one thing about the pregnancy leave now, I was somewhere listening to experts talk about this, isn't it better for the husband to be in after the wife is back to work? Take the FMLA during those periods than before? Is that what, have you heard that?
No, I mean, I think this is about bonding with the baby.
Yeah.
And they also have 2 small toddlers at home, so I think giving her some assistance in the first couple of weeks with a brand new baby and 2 toddlers is more, what.
Oh, I understand, I was just asking the question,
Yeah,
totally, I wish I had it,
yeah,
that would have been great.
Yeah, and technically you're not supposed to do anything for the first 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah,
You don't go back working out in the fields?
that's gonna happen,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're not supposed to go up and down stairs.
Yeah. All right, so there is a motion and second on the table. Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
And Commissioner DiBernardo?
Yes.
All right. By the way, Commissioner Stewart, did you get our email that we sent to you?
I did. Thank you very much for your help.
All righty, no problem. Moving on. I'm gonna just do a little quick moving around. Sorry, Rob, just for a second, because I know that Catherine needs to get into a meeting. Master agenda item number 126A, presentation of bids propane tank replacement wastewater treatment plant. Aaron Newman.
Okay, I'm gonna actually pass these out and I'm gonna come down this way, so I don't feel like I'm on the other side of the room. I apologize for those that are on Zoom. I should have sent this to Davis. I can get all of you a copy. This is just basically a breakdown of what we ended up having. All right, so we, a couple months ago, we went out to bid and this project is replacing the propane tank down at wastewater treatment, which last year we found out had significant corrosion and failed a cathodic test. So we put the bid out into the Keene Sentinel. We only had 2 bidders from that. It was Dead River Company and E. Houghton. So what I did here was I broke down the cost, and you'll see Dead River Company came in at $96.15 and E. Houghton came in at $9,200. The one thing I just want to explain is because this is a propane tank, there are some things that our energy supplier needs to do, some things that, the general contractor needs to do, but they can't do. For example, Dead River, they won't do the excavation, so we had to find another company. And, conversely, E. Houghton, they won't supply us with the propane tank or the piping. So, that was the reason why we're bringing in two companies to do it. The total came to $18,815. There's going to be $1,100 of unused funds from this project. Dead River Company, they're going to supply the 1,000 gallon propane tank. They're gonna supply the parts, the anode bag, straps, new propane piping, and tank removal, and they're also gonna hook up a temporary propane tank to the generator. So as this work is going on, and we do have a power outage, we'll always have power at the wastewater treatment plant. So the propane tank came in at $5,108. The parts came in at $2,032, and the labor for Dead River came in at $2,475. E. Houghton, which came in at $9,200. Their portion of the project is going to be excavating and removing the old propane tank, pouring a concrete foundation for ballast. As you all know, this is in a floodplain, so we have to pour concrete and then anchor the underground propane tank to that. We're going to install bollards to prevent vehicles from coming into contact with the tank. They're also going to dig an 18-inch trench from the propane tank to the wastewater treatment plant so that Dead River can install new piping. They're going to seed and restore the site, and we're going to backfill the trench.
Is there a life expectancy on these tanks?
So the tank we're replacing was put in the 80s. Okay, so it has quite a bit of life, and with the anode bags that they're going to attach to it, the sacrificial anode bags, that increases the life expectancy of the tank.
Doesn't the existing tank already have a pad?
We don't know that. There's no way to know until we excavate the tank out, so the tank's underground. So the other thing too is Dead River recommended that we move the tank. They think that a portion of that tank, there's the ability of vehicles to drive over the tank where the tank is sitting now. So we're gonna actually move the tank to a different location.
All right, how come tank removal is in both Dead River and the Cheshire?
Well, E. Houghton is gonna remove the tank from the hull.
Yeah.
And then Dead River Company is gonna take the
Dispose
tank.
of.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Is there a motion?
To accept the bids?
Second.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none? Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes,
and Commissioner DiBernardo.
Yes.
Alrighty, thank you very much.
Great,
You're all set.
thank you. Have a good day.
All right, Catherine, yours is per diem, master agenda item number 1270, per diem double pay, minor holidays. Catherine's here to update the commission on double pay for nursing department for minor holidays.
Back in August of 2023, I approached the commissioners because at that point, we were noticing our per diem staff were not picking up 2 of our 3 minor holidays. So I'll just give a little bit of background. We have 3 major holidays and 3 minor holidays. The majors are at double pay for per diems, and the minor holidays, only July 4th was at double pay for the per diems. We were noticing a trend that none of the per diems were picking up the 2 minors that did not have the incentive to pay. What we proposed 2 years ago was if we allow double pay, there's actually cost savings, because whenever we have to put a traveling person in that position, it's at least 10, maybe up to $20 more per hour as compared to if we used our own per diem staff at that double pay. So the commissioners at the time agreed we would do it so it was August, of 2023. We'd almost already booked everyone up for that September, that first Labor Day. So at the time that this was decided upon, we were only able to pick up 4 because there was just too much. There wasn't enough time for folks to adjust their schedule. So then we went for the 2 years. And what I can tell you is,
May want to tell them what the 2 minor holidays.
sorry, the 2 minor holidays are Labor Day and Memorial Day. So July 4th is a minor as the double pay, but Memorial Day and Labor Day are minors, and they had no incentive pay for our per diem staff. So since we instituted this for the 2-year trial, we had 10 pick up Labor Day in 2024, and so far 10 this year. We expect more will pick it up. And last year Memorial Day, we had 11 pick it up in 2024. It was 10 people, but one did a double, so I'm counting it as 11. And so far, we have 13 that's picking up for this particular Memorial Day, and prior to that, there was zeros. So I'd like to suggest that for the foreseeable future, that the commissioners continue to support the incentive of double pay for the per diem nursing staff to pick up those 2 per diem holidays.
So it worked out.
It worked out,
So can we just ensure this in our policy then?
absolutely.
I'll make the motion to do that.
I'll second it, sure.
Mhm. Any questions? Seeing none? Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner DiBernardo?
Yes.
Pardon. Thank you. I don't think so, but I'll text you if we do. Alrighty, thank you. Next up is master agenda item number 1267, presentation of bids, control room, UPS department corrections. Rob Hummel is here. Action is expected to discuss and move forward with a bid for control room UPS replacement. Rob.
Thank you. You may recall from the budget discussions that the UPS systems that control the security systems at the HOC had aged out. They were original, had been there since the facility was built, and it became impossible now to get parts and probably service for them. So as part of the renewal process, we went out for bids both to the original contractor and to another contractor as well. The bid came back to replace all of the UPSs at once, which was a significant amount of money. And I guess some negotiation was done at your level to do part of the project this year. So what I have is I've received 2 bids to replace the UPS system that controls the control room. And I'm going to flip over to them. Cornerstone, who was the original contractor who built the facility, came in a little over $50,000. And another company in Rhode Island, Power Solutions, came in significantly less, $39,000. When I asked Cornerstone what the reason was for the large difference, it's basically their markup. They would be acting as our agent and just going to another contractor to deliver the system. They wouldn't be involved in the installation or calibration or anything. Normally, I would go with the original vendor in a case where there was some value added. In this case, I don't believe there is. So I'm recommending that we accept the lower bid from Power Solutions, which would leave us approximately $5,000 or $6,000 to pay for the installation and hookup, which is not as part of this original quote.
What
Well,
is
is there gonna be any interruption during the installation? When you have to shut down the system or can you do it just a little at a time? How's that work?
Well, there certainly will be some interruption because the way its system is set up now, it's a full-time online system. My recommendation is that we get a professional electrician in to do the work. And the first step would be to hook up a bypass of the existing system. So there might be a minor interruption, 15 minutes or so. Then they can replace the equipment, and when that's ready to go on, they can cut back over. So I expect the interruption to be minimal. I would not expect it to be replaced while it was live.
What is the cost of the hookup?
I don't have any estimates on that. The HOC is handling the installation and connection.
We don't have any numbers for that yet.
When you say you handle it, you find somebody else to handle it, or do you do it in-house?
We'll go outside to professional, as Rob had recommended.
So right now, this cost of 39,000 from Power Solutions is just the hardware.
That's correct. Hardware delivered to our facility.
Okay, so at some point, we'll know what the additional cost is? And are you just asking approval now for the hardware?
Yes, to your second question, I'd like to get this in process. I'm not sure what the delivery time will be. And at that
Yeah.
point, Superintendent Yazway is going to be going out again, I guess, for a separate bid from electricians.
Okay,
Not to speak for him, but
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah, that's what it is, sounds good.
Yeah, I just have just a quick question, Rob. As we move forward in the next budget session, we have what, 3 more to do? They're smaller. This is the biggest one that we had to tackle, but maybe there's 4 more to go. I can't remember, but there's 4 closets that we have to do. And is there one that you're going to be looking at next? Can we do one at a time over the next few years, or what's your thoughts on that?
well, I guess it's kind of like replacing the tires in your car one at a time, and you can do that and just hope the others don't blow.
Yeah.
This is a larger system, as you say, because it runs the main controls that everything else talks to. The other 3 closets are smaller. I would expect the UPSs for them, because they have a much lower capacity, to be less expensive. But it depends. You can drag it out as long as you'd like. My recommendation is that we not wait until there's a disaster.
Okay. Yeah, and so we're using the 45,000 that was set aside, and currently that price that you just said was what, 39?
39,
So so we're looking at about 6,000 for any other additional costs.
Yeah, I would expect that would cover the installation.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. There's a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
And any other discussions, any other questions? Seeing none, Commissioner Clark.
Yeah.
Commissioner Stewart
yes.
and Commissioner DiBernardo.
Yes.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Chris, I'm gonna sign off. I'll be back in the office in about 20 minutes.
Okay. Then we're gonna move on. And master agenda item number 1269, signing of the Connected Families document. Cheryl's here. I don't know if Dennis is here or not. Action expected, clerk to sign the certificate of authority for the Connected Families contract renewal effective 7/1/25.
So the Connected Families gets about $1.3 million from the state of New Hampshire to support their program, in addition to the Medicaid billing that we do. And this is, and they were awarded again the state contract portion of the program that goes into effect July 1, 2025. And one of in addition to the overall contract, what this is it's the clerk authorizing. I put Chris here myself, but Chris is ending up signing it, but this is basically a certificate of authority that says I, Angelo DiBernardo, hereby certify that I am a duly elected county clerk of Cheshire County. I hereby certify that Christopher Coates or Cheryl Trombley is authorized on behalf of the county to enter into this said contract with the state and to execute any and all documents, agreements, and other instruments, and any amendments, revisions, or modifications thereto, as he, she may deem necessary, desirable, or appropriate. I hereby certify that this authority has not been amended or repealed and remains in full force and effect as of the date of the contract amendment. The authority was valid 30 days prior to and remains valid for 30 days. So basically, it's just a statement where you're gonna state and sign that you are providing authorization for Chris to sign the contract.
And you'll cover the 1-3 if the state doesn't come through.
Yeah.
Don't come out of petty cash.
Essentially, I think
Probably not.
maybe it's just a note, a comment that the,
Administrative notice.
You know, what I put in here usually for these is just the commissioner that needs, and I signed it
Okay.
in bold.
and that they authorized
Okay,
Chris Coates
all right.
and or Cheryl Chombley. And I wasn't sure when the contract was gonna come through, but it already has.
No motion is necessary then.
I don't think so. It doesn't sound like requiring a motion. That's it. Thank you.
Well,
Okay. Moving on. Just gonna text Kim real quick, have her come up and just give a
What are
greater.
you getting for your?
Well, do you need to? Wait for Doug?
No, this isn't
Oh,
about
something
something
else.
completely
Okay,
different.
Add over 5,000.
oh.
Let's see. I often wondered.
So, Cheryl, did you want both your names in the motion that you both empowered to do so?
That's what he signed.
What-
Okay, great.
So,
Perfect.
It's, I mean, it's turning out that Chris is actually signing it, but
But since
it
it's
said
there,
Use your
maybe
real
it's
name?
more than one person. I figured I'd cover the
Oh,
bases
and I'll
in
just-
case.
I'll pay the money and.
What they're free.
Because you've already gotten the contract, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure the timing of getting the contract.
Yep.
Bet they have someone else do it.
Okay, I'm gonna start moving forward here and my report. Start with, we've been working with Primex in reference to Dave Siegel, who is the physician assistant down at the DOC. As you know, he's looking at retiring from the hospital, the clinic. And still keep some level of ties for supervision purposes through, I think, Dr. Tremblay. And but keep working for us. The issue is would Primex cover his insurance? And so it's been they've never had this situation. So we've been talking to them, working with Mike Ricker, who's their lead attorney. And that at the conference, they had a meeting of the board of directors, and at that meeting, they approved Dave Siegel being covered by Primex insurance wise, moving forward 1 million, 2 million. So
That's usually covered by the hospital.
yeah. Yeah, so we're good, but it's just been, we've had to go back and forth on it, but it's good because Dave, it wants to continue on at the DOC. He's a great asset to the DOC. And, so it's a win for everybody.
And we have to pay for that. We have to pay for that.
Yeah, but it's really within the framework of our normal costs. It isn't something that this is the type of insurance that they do. They're just adding it to our insurance. So, I did send out the letter, right to know for the pharmaceutical that, prescription drug, they did a right to know and, asking for a multitude of information from us. Because as you know, we joined the opiate lawsuit. We've, in doing so, pharmaceuticals, have been being sued. And now we've moved on to the next level of that lawsuit, which is the normal process. And so those that actually, you get the prescription, you deliver the opiates out, are now on the line of being sued. And the state of New Hampshire and everybody else is all on board with we're the subdivision of the state of New Hampshire. And so this one company asked for a multitude of things, but in talking to our attorney, Attorney Robert Bonsignori, who has a home here in New Hampshire, but also, is most of the time based out of Las Vegas. And he's been our attorney for a period of time. And, he, you know, worked with, we're not the only ones that got it. So most of the counties got that, most of the subdivisions got this request. And so we utilizing the same template that COAS utilize, we were able to put something together that pretty much said, here's the vote that we took to join the lawsuit. But after that, that's all other documents our attorney has. It's attorney-client privilege, and the Attorney General has. Because of anything we've done, we've had to, you know, send it on to the Attorney General at the state level. So that's what we did. So that we sent that out last week. I also conferred with Chris McLaughlin too during that period of time. And he agreed with the county attorney up in Coas County and how the letter was structured. And so we moved on. So I just want to make you aware.
So there's been no response then? From,
No, for a week and a half now.
okay.
And usually those guys are pretty quick on that stuff.
How much have we collected then, about?
Well, a little over $400,000 probably. Close. I mean, I know it's less than that now because we've spent it.
Right,
It's probably about
I can go
220.
and look.
Well, no, you know, ballpark.
I'd say probably about between $400,000 and $500,000.
Yeah,
And so that was in the last,
Years?
last 3 years.
so phase two is gonna go on for,
Well, phase one is still going on too.
Yeah.
And in some of these awards, some of these, these decisions that have been made, on these companies, they've structured it so it's like 16 years. So every year of 16 years or 18 years or 20 years, you'll get a little bit of something. You know, because it comes into the state takes 15% right off the top. Then the subdivisions get 15%. And then the rest of it goes into the trust where people can then apply for grants. Whether you're a county, whether you're a city or town, or whether you're a nonprofit doing work on helping the opiate issues. So in the past, I would come probably in the next few weeks and say to you, this is how we're looking at, spending some of the monies down. In the past, we've utilized it internally. We've learned, we also work with community nonprofits like Reality Check, which is over in the Jaffrey area. That's doing great work over there. The Serenity Center here in Keene. Last year, we also included, and it was actually a great success. And anything I do, no, come on in. Anything that I do, I always, if it's a change of something, before I present to you, I reach out to the Deputy Attorney General, James Pomfetti. And because if I don't, and I get it in writing that we can go down this road. And last year, what we did is we worked with 2 organizations that are working with grandparents that are raising kids, to help them with certain costs that they can't afford because their loved ones, whether they're alive, in prison, or just right now, in the midst of the struggle, or rehabbing, whatever it may be. That's something that, we gave to last year, and that was, Kids Collaborative. And Service Link has a portion of their program working with grandparents that are doing this, working with this. And so it allowed kids to go to camps that the grandparents may not have the financial means to do, and other things like that. Travel costs to go see their parents that are in prison or in treatment, whatever it may be. So that's something. This year, I don't know where the budget's gonna be. And so I'm just sort of waiting putting a little bit of a hold on that until we get a better feel of where things are at. Because one of the things that we have done in the past is given a certain amount of money towards the DOC to help bring down some of their costs. And so for the treatment stuff, treatments, like Suboxone and other things that they're doing, methadone. And there's a cost to us, and so we may end up doing that this year, the whole bundle of it, depending on what the budget looks like, and we'll be learning probably in the next few weeks where our pro share comes in at, and that could dictate, so I'm sort of holding off right now. It's not that I don't want to bring something to you, because I think the monies that we've given for the work that's being done is actually spot on, and I think we've probably been one of the more aggressive in our community to go, not just go internally, but go out, externally. And, the the sheriff has done a great job of having all chiefs and departments in the county come in and go through trainings around this topic area. Like I said, the DOC has done their due diligence, and of course, we've been giving money to drug court.
And we do
And
have,
EMS too.
and we do have in this particular budget for 2025, we have 110,000 of internal uses for the opiate funds, and the 90,000 is a combination between some programs that the sheriff's department, some trainings that they do. So there's an expense there that will be offset with whatever is spent there is, as Chris mentioned. The Suboxone costs at the DOC will be offset. And then there is some drug court incentives for their participants, that anything there will be offset. And then, of course, as he mentioned too, the EMS, there's some trainings that are relative to this that would be offset. So for our own internal purpose, we have allocated 110,000. We'll only move what actually gets spent. It's just, as you mentioned, typically in August, he may come forward with when we amend the budget with another layer of external supports that you're gonna hold back on.
Yeah,
Because
just to
we may
see how
need it
things
next year.
if all of a sudden we get a check coming through the door that allows us to take a look at it, we could do that, but I'd just rather be a little bit more safe this year. Any questions? Seeing none, moving on. Handyman, we continue to really do great work with the handyman program. As you know, the handyman program is a program that was started about 7 years ago. We're looking at honing in on about 50 homes in Cheshire County. It's not Keene centric at all. And what I would plan on doing at some point is having Jessica White come in and talk about the work that's being done so that you have a better understanding of how it goes. But simply put, the commissioners wanted to do something that developed a continuum of care so that the first time we saw somebody wasn't at the nursing home, but if we could somehow keep them in the home when they've had a health crisis, at the same time, partnering with Cheshire Medical Center, it meant that we could get people that were staying long-term in the hospital because they could not go home back into the home, which opens up a bed for them. As I've said to you before, on the EMS side, with the work we're doing with interfacility transfers, 2 years ago, the number of bed days lost at Cheshire Medical was 3,500. And that's money that is going out the door that they can't do anything about. And with us in place, whether it's through this program, the handyman program, or EMS, that is shrunk dramatically. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. The handyman program is a partnership. Initially, the commissioners wanted to develop within in-house. We said, we don't think that is the best way to do it, that we have partners in the community that are already doing the work. So we partnered with ServiceLink, who was working with the elder care, and they go out and they do the survey of the home. They talk, they develop the contract and the expectations with the homeowner. And then we work with Southwest Community Services, and they have weatherization teams who are contractors who are already vetted and have documentation of insurance. They can go out and do the work. Because of the backlog of work on their side, we've also gone to private, but we've gone through the same protocol that we do for the Southwest Community Services contractor, so that now we've broadened that base of contractors. And it can be that somebody does need a ramp. It can be that somebody needs a door enlarged or bathroom renovations as simple as bars put up.
Those ramps, you know, the aluminum ones.
Yeah.
I just saw one a few months ago on Facebook. They were, they didn't need it anymore and they were asking somebody to take it away. Do whoever does those for us, inventory those as they
Yeah.
are not needed anymore?
Yeah, if we're putting metal in, sometimes because of I've been told because of the incline and all that, metal's a little bit more tricky to work with especially in winter months. And so, but those are removable. And so
Yeah, like
we
boat
can-
ramps, right?
Right, we can take them and move them to another site, yeah.
Well, in the instance that I might come across another one, who
You would contact me and I would contact,
they go
and what we would do is we'd find one of the contractors to store it for us. And then when we needed it, but, you know, we set aside a certain amount of money every year for pro share funding, and we think it's served us well. This was also a time when the state was really pushing managed care down our throats and said, you need to come up with different type of programming to show us that the elders are, you know, you're thinking about how to take care of elder care, and we did that, and to the point where the former commissioner, Lori Chabanette, was doing a strategic plan for the Department of Health and Human Services, who she was the commissioner of. And she brought that into the strategic plan that other counties should start doing the same thing, work with the CAPS program, Southwest Community Services, and Service Links and others, you know, so, you know, I just wanted to give you an update that that's where things are at. This week is EMS week, so if you happen to drive by
don't have a breakfast Saturday?
they do have a breakfast on I think it's actually not Saturday, it's the following week. Cause I asked I asked the chief about that the other day and he said, no,
I think it's the 31st. I was looking.
31st, yeah,
Yeah, it is.
The one that.
31st, and so it's next weekend.
That's a
So-
breakfast?
Yes,
Yeah,
pancakes, bacon, sausage, you know.
mandatory attendance.
Yeah, well, if it's got bacon, you don't have to force it.
Yeah, it's Saturday, May 31st, from 8 AM to noon.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this week, the chief has been going in around 6:30 or 6:30 in the morning. He's a master griller on, what are they, Blackstone?
Yeah,
Yeah, those things are awesome.
And so he's been cooking up every morning breakfast for the crew. They bought them, you know, a little drink thing like that, for everybody with their names on it, all that jazz, and, just feeling the love a little bit. So I appreciate everything they're doing. The chief and I actually, had an opportunity to go to Concord on Monday, to meet with the governor. And as she signed a proclamation, and I had the chief get a picture with her, and so we put it on our Facebook. She was great, a good discussion, and so, yeah. That's
How's
where,
the chief doing as far as handling the pressure?
outstanding. And the only reason that
You're giving us honest answers, not like you.
No, the only, we have MRI that meets with him on a semi-regular basis. And, also, I do my own, I meet with Mark probably 4 times a week.
Mhm.
And, he is very, one of the things that we stressed is, it's a running joke.
Mhm.
A year from now, I want to be celebrating and not in a search mode. So you have to take care of yourself.
Okay.
And he, like last night, he called me because he had, and I said, where are you? He said, well, we're at the new Chinese or Japanese restaurant, you know, hibachi place, whatever that is. And I said, so why are you talking to me? He said, well, you called me earlier and I didn't get back. I said, yeah, but you're a family. He's like, you're right. All right, bye. Good answer, but, he's gonna, yeah, I think. And the other thing is, and I don't know if I said this last week or not, but I was at the Touch a Truck the Kiwanis had a few weeks ago. And whenever I'm there, you know, we have a truck there, so we had some people, and I didn't know them. And so I went in over and introduced myself, and I said, how are things? How are things going? So this one woman said, and she worked at Golden Cross and some other places, and she said, I've never felt more valued and that I can just do my work. And she said, I love my staff or my team. And she said, I love working for the chief. He knows who I am. And so I thought that was cool. And then she said, you know, when you put this together, is this where, you know, what you thought it would be? And I said, I'm still trying to figure out what it is. But I said that our goal, the commissioner's goal from day one has been, if we can, because we know the history, you guys go in, sometimes you don't know if you're gonna get your check. Well, we can tell you, you're gonna get it direct deposit. That's how sure we know. You're going to get retirement, you're gonna get good health care. You're going to get this, that, da, 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 da. And I said, if we do all that, then you can focus on work. And if you have a good team and a good atmosphere from the chief and all that, then that's only, you know, and that's what we're hearing on a consistent basis. If we're losing people at all, it's because one, they're truly more firefighters. And so there's an opportunity for them to become a firefighter / EMT, and that's their calling. Or they, you know, found someplace that's gonna pay them double or whatever it may be. But a lot of the Massachusetts people we get, they like it because one, it's a slower pace than what they're used to. Two, they actually get to sit in a facility and not in a truck for 12 hours in a parking lot like Walmart, waiting for the next call to come in, doing all their paperwork at the same time, trying to find where they can utilize a restroom. And these are stories I hear all the time, and when they come in, you guys don't, they'll tell the other, you don't get it. We got a bed. You know, we can relax, we can be ready to go when the call comes in. And they're as busy as ever, as the chief said a few weeks ago, calls are up by 28%. So, and I think this is actually a good time to, you know, we can talk a little bit. Cheryl and I, on a semi-regular basis, we look at where we are, especially after a quarter gets done. And I was pleasantly surprised for the first time ever, we showed positive revenues compared to expenses. So that we actually came out ahead for the first time since we've been operating this. Hopefully this is a trend that's cycling in the right way. Hopefully it's because we're watching the bottom line. And that we're also understanding to get us the billing out as quickly as possible. It's maybe a reflection too on the quality of EMAX and the work they do to get things out. I mean, are we still billing at a very high rate and still not getting the levels that we should be getting in theory? Yeah, but we've been working on certain things. We know there's a good chance that we're going to be seeing on the private side an percentage increase in pay there because we've been fighting for it. I happen to know what that answer is, but I can't say what that answer is yet. But it's either 200 or 325% increase over what the privates are currently paying. That could be a significant, either one of them is significant, but you know, and the example I can give you is that if we have a bill that's $1,800 and we get a bill and we get a check from the privates, you know, usually for, you know, like a $368, whatever it is that they want to give us, then the individual complains and then they send us a second check for $1,600. So that's where we want to shoot for, is that on a regular basis. And if that was the case, we'd be even more golden than anything. The 200% will bring us to about $800, and the 325% gets us to $1,200. If we're getting $1,200 from the privates every time, that would be a
That
significant.
would be from New Hampshire Blue Cross.
Blue Cross, right,
Not
it is,
federal and not other
Right,
states.
yeah.
So Specific.
But
it's a whole
overall-
nother battle.
But overall, we're transitioning out of the startup phase. Right? It's, not the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning.
And we have many more hurdles to
Yeah.
go through, but this is a positive.
Yeah, well, it's working.
It is, I mean,
Yeah.
operationally, what Mark has done in a very short period of time, and the other chiefs, Chad and Mike before him. I mean, we're 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, we're really 1.5 years old because the first year was true startup. So where we're at today, you know, there's little things, adding the lieutenants, adding that layer, so that the upper echelon, when you talk about the burnout, if a captain was out, they're going here to cover down. And so all of a sudden, we put the lieutenants in here, and if a captain's up, the lieutenant goes up. These guys work their thing, and sometimes they may end up calling, because they're paramedics, and we're short paramedics. But it's a whole different thing, and the burnout rate comes down. And so that's just little things in the morale, and that, I know that can change in a heartbeat. But, you know, Mark is meeting with, the union on a quarterly basis to say, all right, what are the issues? You know, let's work them out, and there's small little things that are easy to work out. So operationally, we've got the 911s are flowing. We've got, you know, Smart Ride and all that is coming along, and they're servicing at the highest levels. They've got, and then we've got the 911s, and, you know, and we've got towns that are, you know, really on the border of really needing us as a primary, not a backup. So we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing, and we're doing it the right way. And so if we just keep heading down this path, I think it's good. And I will tell you that, I'm being told by people outside of the region, our model is being looked at. And that, I was told that a week ago, by 2 chiefs, outside the region. And they also said that it got around, in a very positive way, it got around that, you know, we made the decision to have me go to the city of Keene and say they need the 3rd ambulance. Because it showed that we weren't competing, we're working with. Because we, you know, and as I said to you, we were never put in place to take on Keene. We were there to support Keene when they needed us. And so that's why we went there and said that's what we needed. And so I just
So the
wanted.
chief's doing okay.
The chief is doing well, the 2 deputy chiefs are doing well, and the captains all are on board and understanding what we're trying to do. So I think you put all that together, and so far, right now, we're in a good place. We've got 2 ambulances that will be here supposedly by September, August, September. I'll believe it when I see it, but that's good. And, you know, with some of this other stuff that's going on, I had a long conversation yesterday with the town administrator of Winchester and where they're at in their process of trying to figure out what next steps are moving forward for them. That, you know, I think we're okay, and I think we're understanding what we're trying to do and what we're up against.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, yeah. So next one is, so we've been working on, the CIP capital improvement plan. We've been working on fleet and contracts for a while now, trying to figure out, you know, we've always had some level of a system, but we want to I want to tighten it up and take it to a higher level. With the, CIP, what I would want is an actual catalog, an actual, whether it's electronic or whether it's in hand or whether it's all the above, of, if I look at this facility, And I think about the boiler they have here for the heating system. They have, for the wood chips. They have a boiler, but there's other parts to that boiler too. And in talking to, Aaron and others, you know, can we start taking the lists that we have and start grouping them together? So when you look at a cost of something, you open up the book and say, well, this is what we're gonna be looking at. It's not just the boiler, it's boom, 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 and boom. And so, we have a lot of that, a lot of that in place, but not in the orders it needs to. But my dream would be to be able to open up to the DOC and say, all right, this is what I'm looking for, boom, all right, you know, and, or electronically do it.
Yeah.
And that would be the first phase for us. The second phase would be that when you have your book like this, you have currently in that book, capital expenses that we're gonna be having, what we just talked about in there for the UPSs, for the DOC.
That's just
That's in
that
there.
year.
It's in there, okay? What I'd like to add to that is a CIP that looks out in there a year, 2 years, 3 years, 7 years, whatever it may be. Under each, you know, and we just need to figure out how that would look. So that you guys know you have this year, but you also have what's gonna be looking like down the road. You just heard Rob say, you know, I know we have 3 more to do. But we need to figure out how to do that and how, you know, if this budget year gonna allow us to do all 3. I hear what he's saying and he's concerned, but there's also a fiscal reality I have to deal with too. So I'd like to have a better understanding of what that's gonna look like.
Yeah, that'll give us a lot better
Right,
sight on budgeting.
Right.
It's much like looking at, you know, a real life chart of our bonding.
yeah,
We'll know, you know, things come down.
yeah,
And we'll be able to look and to see where our expenses are going to be in 5 years.
correct. So, go ahead,
Who's gonna do that as such? I mean,
let me get to that in a second.
all right.
And then you know, so we would have that would be what we're looking at for, the CIP for 3 phases. We'd also do the same theory for fleet. So that you would have a better understanding fleet wise. And then contractually, we have a lot of, agreements that we need to stay on top of. And whether it's rubbish, whether it's, with our, CP, CNH, whatever it may be, even our wood pellets, our wood, what is it? Chips, thank you. And so that's another thing that we need to just make sure we're all on the same page. You know, if one's using rubbish removals, that's one group, and then another group's doing something different, then, you know, why? And, you know, it's same for propane, which I know we're consistent there. So there's just little things that we want to make sure we're all on the same page. And then we have, a few years ago when we came here, we had a system in place. And what I was told at the time by the facility manager here, at the time, and also, Rod Bouchard, who was working alongside me at the time, is they had software that they would use. Some of it, some people thought it was good, some people thought it was, eh. And so we took a look at a program called WorkHub. And we adopted that. And so how do we strengthen that? How do we make sure everybody's really utilizing it? I know up here, when it comes to work orders, they live and breathe the WorkHub. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so I want to make sure that's consistent across all campuses. If there's more that we can do through WorkHub, it is a subscription we pay on a yearly basis. It's being utilized by all campuses, but on what levels, and can we take it to the next level? So that it's just utilized in a more thoughtful way. So, with all that being said, I had the opportunity to meet with Rod Bouchard the other day, who has done a lot of this work in the past. Who actually, when we were talking about it, he's like, Chris, we need to do this, that, and the other, you know. And I said, what are you doing? And what are you doing now? You keeping yourself busy? Because he retired. And he's like, "Ah, so bored." He works 1 day a week for Southwest Regional Planning Commission. And I said, well, what if I said you could come back, for, let's start with a month and then, but it'd be probably, I'm looking at 90 days at the most. And I'm looking at 8 to maybe 10 hours a week. That's it. And he said, I would love it. And he's in because he would be in my office, he'd be in the conference room or he'd be working with Aaron up here, or he'd be working with Laszlo down at DOC or Rob Hart, or whoever it may be. And we would start putting this all together because he believes, and I believe that we can do this in a short period of time. We have the list of all the equipment that we have. But it needs to be put in order. It needs to be addressed into more categorical thoughtfulness, and it's not at this point. So, in talking to Cheryl and utilizing commissioners outside services line, I want to say agency, outside services line, we could do that for a period of time, pay him as a subcontractor. And just, he would work with me. After 30 days, he would report out to me on where things stand to see if we needed more time. I do believe it's a 60 to 90 day project. But I would, after the first month, he'd be reporting out and he'd be in my next door. I know exactly, I'm gonna have to be working with him the whole time, but right now, that makes the most sense. So I'm just looking for for my ability to move forward and bring him on, and utilize this. He's familiar with all the systems that we have. He's familiar with the people for the most part. And so I think just doing all this will make the most sense. He's worked closely with Amanda up here, who does a lot of the support for Aaron already. So I just think it's a right match.
If he's really bored with retirement, how much is he willing to pay us to come in?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
You always gotta ask the question.
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
So what we would do is see where he was last paid, and then add a little bit on to that. And because of all the other things that he would have to do as a contractor. So I think it's $45 an hour. Is what
So
we.
is there a cap on the contract or a cap on the number of hours per week?
8 hours. 8 hours.
I can put it at 8 or 10. I think we should start with 8, and if he needs more, he can come back to me and talk to me about that, but there is a cap. He knows there is a cap on that. He also knows there's a deadline in place of I said no more than 90 days to get this project done.
And so what he's gonna do is just set up a system that anyone out or.
He's gonna work with everybody to help make that a reality and just make it so it's a lot smoother. Every department head and every facility director will have anything that we do. And when I met with them, when I met with Doug and I don't think Eli was there, I think Eli was away. But when I met with everybody, they said, Chris, just bring something back to us kind of thing. And I think this helps having, if we can start putting it together for everybody and working with their facilities people is where we're at. Okay.
All right, with a 90-day cap, sure.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I personally want that because right about that time is when we start going into budget season. And so I'd like to have that as we go into budget season. That's my goal. So it just gives us more clarity on everything that we have here, what we're doing, how we're looking at moving out. And so there's no surprises moving forward. That's all. And I'm not trying to change any systems or anything like that. I'm just trying to, make it a little bit stronger.
I think the key with this is that Work Hubs was basically built by Rod, and if there's a way to actually utilize it to its fullest, you might as well. I mean, between the facilities, people that use it, I think Aaron uses what Bruce probably was part of the building with Rod, I got it. Used to call everybody Rod, now I'm calling everybody Rob. And then Laszlo, but there's no other, knowledge about the whole like background of work hub. So rather than put that out the window, find a way to utilize that along with the data that finance has that tracks all the fixed assets.
That's gonna help us get rid of these surprises, you know, like the ultraviolet system
Yeah,
down at the wastewater treatment plant or whatever,
yeah.
you know.
And it's not gonna mean that just because something had an expected life of 5 years, that we get upon the 5 years and we have to fix it, but or replace it, but it's at least knowing what we have and what the, you know, the normal useful life is, and
Brings
then
up
for,
flags.
yeah, and then for the facilities people to be able to speak to it, to say, well, but yeah, we've put some money into it, so it's extended its life, or now it's running, you know, so it will at least give a better sense,
Well-
rather than all of a sudden at budget time saying, oh, we need to replace this $400,000 item, and it's like, whoa, I didn't even know that was coming down the road at all.
And it's the other thing is that we can get to that date and say it's $150,000, but it's running well. But we can choose to say, all right, well, let's put $75,000 aside towards that. And so that we're building towards that, because that's what we can afford right now, or whatever it may be that we want to put aside. But it's just smart budgeting. It's best practice. So that's all we're looking at. Okay?
And so, you know, I support that as long as you got that end date on it and we can at least reassess it
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah, this is just a setup. It'll
Right.
reside
Yep.
in the departments and with overall supervision, Chris probably, right?
Right. So, did I send it to some other place? I might have.
We thought it was important.
Yeah, yeah. All right, ready. All right, the other, this is just for thought. I'm not looking this, I'm always thinking about how we can better support communities. So this is one of my, you know, crazy ideas, probably in some people's minds. But I know that towns are really struggling. And again, I like to have these conversations just because sometimes they don't have to go anywhere. Or sometimes you can say, Chris, you're a little bit crazy. Or what's the saying, Claudia? Never mind.
That's it, crazy.
It's, I know budgets are tight, and I know our budgets are gonna be tight over the next few years. But what I'm hearing is that we have a lot of failing things in our communities. I hear this all the time, bridges, infrastructure within towns that are struggling, and I know that's their responsibility. But I also know sometimes towns don't have the bandwidth when it comes to, they could be getting more done quickly. If with the state, because the state's gonna match 80% on a project, and they only have to pay 20, but they don't have that 20% for that bridge or whatever it may be that they have, right? So what if, and this, don't kill me, what if we set aside a certain amount of money that a town could apply for to help offset if they need 20 and we could give them 5 or 10% of that 20? And then, you know, they couldn't apply for a year. The year following, they couldn't apply for another thing because they applied the year before. To help towns offset that, and, you know, maybe it's in the form of a grant, maybe it's in the form of a loan, and I don't know if it's even possible, but I know when I look outside of New England, infrastructure and counties are one and the same. And I'm just trying to think, is there, and I know that our towns especially the smaller towns, but even the bigger towns are struggling to come up with ways to do projects. And so I don't need an answer today. I don't even, if you want to have put thoughts out there, that's fine. If you say, Chris, don't even say this again.
God.
But I'm just trying to figure out, I know that, so I'm saying, what if you set aside 500 or $1 million? And they had to submit a thing on that, they had to outline it, you had the 3 commissioners and maybe 3 members of the delegation that reviewed it, made a decisions. And that they would get the monies, and that would help them move forward with projects that needed to be done. It's, we're evolving. I don't know if this is something that's right. I don't know if it's the right time. I don't know. But I just know that I need to at least start putting these type of thoughts on the table, because this is what I'm hearing from communities. This is the struggle they're having.
Do you think, I mean, I think this kind of goes hand in hand with the conversation you were having with me about a week ago, where you were wondering if we as a county could apply for grants that towns
Yeah,
aren't eligible for, and I thought, that doesn't sound, if a grant, if a town isn't eligible for a grant, but you were gonna talk
Yeah.
to Suzanne, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
the answer.
Well,
My further conversation, comment though, just to think about is, this money is going to then be taxed upon all towns and cities.
but if
as
it's
they-
viable for any town to use.
Right, I'm just saying.
That's the way I mean, that city of Keene, the city of Keene could come in and say, we would like to do this.
Right, it'll be a capital reserve fund that we would draw from each tax bill that we send to all of the communities
Right.
every year. That would contribute and be reservoired in a capital
Jaffrey,
reserve
anybody,
fund
For
right.
them,
for them that they could in turn every year apply for,
Every other year,
or every other year.
or every
apply.
2 years.
Or even,
Yeah,
I mean, something could be worked out that way.
Yeah.
It could be, you're not eligible
It's a
until
way of pooling,
Gilson gets a chance.
it's a way of pooling money where you would have more money available that any one town could never do by themselves,
well, and here's the reason I said what I said to.
more or less like a bank.
Right, reason I said what I said to Shirley a few weeks ago is because when I've gone to the conferences in NACO, there is money out there that we can't utilize because we're not set up like the South. There is grants, federal grants that can go to towns, municipalities, and counties. So I'm just, does that by us doing this, does this start opening a door for us to be able to apply for other money?
If there are,
I want to explore that and see how we could, tap into this money. And then if it was a resource that then funnels through us to other communities, then I don't know, it's just another avenue.
and maybe that's a conversation with NACO.
Yeah,
well, if there are RSAs that, because that's what the states like in the South, they have different RSAs that enable counties to do more things than they do in New Hampshire.
correct.
So whatever the RSAs in New Hampshire allow us to do, much like, when we started the ambulance services in RSA, and they're saying that we can do that. That here's the realm of, we just need to explore where we get authorization from the state to do that.
So let me ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
You floated 2 different kind of ideas, or maybe, or maybe 3. One was to try and apply for grants on behalf of communities, administer those funds so that they could access them in a way that they couldn't before. Was
Correct.
that one of them?
That's one.
All right, the other one was to create a kind of revolving loan fund where they could borrow money to do the jobs.
You're right.
Or, all right, or pool money that you've taxed from all the towns that they could apply for a grant from.
Correct.
Those are your three separate thoughts.
I think
Am
so.
I
think-
correct?
Yeah,
I like that
I'm
she's
just looking,
she's
Yeah,
some-
I think we can expand on those, yeah.
okay, so the one where it becomes a grant. Communities have their own capital improvement plans. And so now you're trying to, if I'm understanding the one where towns could, you would take more money from towns to put it into a capital improvement plan that towns could apply to get money. But I'm unclear on how it would build enough funds over what period of time where more than one town, say like Walpole or Westmoreland, who needs the money for the bridge, right? Where that would deplete the entire fund. How do you not deplete that fund that you've taken some from everybody to do one project for one town? I think that's sort of the sticking point for me.
Yeah, well, I think.
Those are the details that have not been
Well, I
worked
think,
out.
yeah, and I think it's one of two things. Is this an ongoing thing? Is this a one-time thing? So is it a yearly, once we put it in the budget, once you take that bite of that apple and you feel that pain at one time, then that's there. And that you can continue to supplement that and you don't feel the pain every year unless you go higher than what you put in the years past. And so,
I'm asking for clarification on communities that are already taking money from their residents for their own capital improvement plan. And now you're gonna take additional money for a county capital improvement plan that allows other towns to access that money. Is that what I understand?
I would say that yes, and I would say that what I'm hearing from towns is they're having a hard time meeting the 20% criteria. And so they're not doing projects because they can't get to that level. And or I mean, even in the city of Keene, there's some projects that they're not able to do because they have to balance out taxes. And if we were able to say, if we had a certain criteria that they could go up to that, 10% of whatever it may be, these are the small details that need to be worked out. And we'd have a limit. And in a year's time, you could get 10 submissions and you can fund 5 of them because that's what you can do. And the next year, you could take a look at those that were submitted or new ones that are submitted, and these other towns that did get the monies, they wouldn't be able to apply at least that year and maybe the year after, whatever it may be. And I mean,
I'm very clear on the concept of what towns the benefit. What I'm unclear on is taking money from towns for a county plan when towns are struggling to fund their own plans.
Correct.
That's the thing that I'm kind of struggling with, because I know each town, all of those towns that are struggling that you're mentioning, you're going to ask them to contribute toward a pool of money. And then at some point in time, they may or may not get a benefit from the taking. Because there is a may not, but there is a given that they're going to be asked to contribute to a pool that they may not actually be able to access.
I agree with you 100%. That is the battle that I would have to try to figure out. And that's why initially I said to Cheryl, let's look at seeing, and I want to see if there is a way for us to start bringing grants, more infrastructure type grants into this community through the county that can help towns. And then I went to the extreme of what we're talking about now.
I'm all for grants. If we can fund, if we can use grants to fund that pool, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But if we're back to, because towns would need to opt in, they would need to be able to say, we don't want to participate because we're trying to fund our own capital improvement plan.
Well, that necessarily is not true. because the county has authority to levy taxes. If the delegation were to authorize, a line item on the county budget that comes from each one of the towns have to pay it.
Which is understandable, however, we're talking more of working with towns as opposed to creating a big
Hostile work environment.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You would create a hostile relationship because
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I get that.
If
I
I
can
may,
see this
Yeah,
being
go ahead.
if I may, just for the record. I don't like the term crazy. We all have ideas, we live in different worlds, basically,
Yeah,
right? So my
yeah.
idea really makes sense. Someone might use those terms, but I don't really like to use that term on someone else's idea.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just different. We obviously need some new ideas as to how to get money. Not to speak for Claudia, but I can understand what she's saying about towns contributing. However, the searching for the grants certainly makes sense. If you were to look into
Yeah,
county being able to get the grant and making a pool of money from there, that would make sense to me,
yeah,
but.
I early on advocated that we actually hire on an extra person in the grant department that would solely be responsible for looking for grants for each one of the towns. I think that was 4 years ago, and I'm not sure where we went with that. We did bring in
Yeah, but-
one,
yeah.
but then now that way, it would be an expense to the county. It would be shared by all of the towns, obviously for that payroll, whatever. But each one of the towns would have access to a grant writer to be able to go out and find something for that bridge that the smaller, especially the smaller towns, they don't have people to do.
No, I understand that, but aren't we cooperating right now with?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
we're running it
the
up
town-
against manpower. Really, it comes down to it. isn't it?
I think the bigger thing is that I need to, if I want to pursue at least the grant portion of this, and when I say pursue it, means I have to dig into it, means I have to figure out what Cheryl said, is there anything statewide that's blocking us? Here's a crazy thought too, is do you add on, can you, I know crazy is not a good word, but it just comes out too easy.
Yep.
One of my way I do business is I think out loud. And as these guys know, sometimes they look at me like, what? But, could you add on a cost when somebody buys a house? Can you, and I don't think you can, I don't think we can create a tax outside of what we already have the ability to do. But, I just I wanna at least pursue going after and seeing if we can somehow break into that area if we can, of grants that may be eligible for counties for infrastructure, that because we're New England and because we're in New Hampshire, we may not have that ability to do so because we're not seen as doing infrastructure
And we don't own
projects.
the infrastructure.
And we
That
don't
may
own
be
it, and that may be the
issue, we
issue,
don't
so, reaching out to some of our counterparts, on NACO, reaching out to New Hampshire Association of Counties, on RSAs, that they can do a little homework for me.
Could we buy the bridge? Become the owner of the Westmoreland.
I've already gone down that road, and I was told to take it out of the budget, but we'll know in a few weeks when Shaheen comes out with their requests, and if everything continues to move forward, on a budget, then we'll see what that means, and maybe good and bad news, we don't know, we'll see.
I think the discussion is obviously very important.
Yeah.
Different ideas, you can usually pick something out of anybody's idea that's useful or whatever, but go ahead and pursue what the county could do as far as grants go.
Yeah, I just, hear from, being up at Primex and talking to the Troy town administrator, talking to the Swansea town administrator, talking to the Fitzwilliam town administrator, they're all having the same struggle.
Right, lack of
Well,
money.
interestingly enough, Troy did send their town administrator and their chief of police But I didn't see it to the grant class. I
Mhm.
didn't see any representation from other towns. I saw nonprofits, arts, various things like that attending the grants class. But I think that trying to figure out a way to get a larger buy-in from communities to also help themselves, not always turning to, an outside entity to fix their problem, but really encouraging them to take more of a lead in looking for grants or trying to solve their problems rather than turning to the county or government entity right off the bat for us to look for that. It's not that we can't do that, but I was very disappointed. But I did talk to a chief who didn't even know that the class was existing. So I would like to also try to support Suzanne without sucking up all her time. In doing another grant class, but really focusing on town administrators to participate or department heads to participate versus nonprofits. Because these infrastructure issues impact towns on a greater level.
Yeah, my thing is, this is our 5th class. That means we're close to 60 individuals. Of that 60, I don't know how many our town folk, because I know in the past we've had a good attendance from the Hinsdale area when it came to rec department people, because they were looking for grants for the rec department and others, but I just don't know close enough. I'd have to look at the list to see. But I think it's always important to remind people, and I know that we're gonna be doing a class in the fall. So,
Yeah.
and because I know she already has, she can do 15. I think this class is a little bit bigger than that, or at least it was. So I think, I think she already has 8 signed up that couldn't get into this class, so. So we'll get the word out. We can send it, but I'll ask her where she does send it to.
Right, because I mean, maybe next year we can do one specifically for towns versus nonprofits.
Yeah.
Because they have problems in common that they may be able to help one another with.
Yeah.
The problem with a lot of the smaller towns is the continuity throughout the years. Most of them rely on volunteers who come and go. You're gonna have groups of people that, as time passes, come and go. So the continuity of, okay, you're gonna train somebody in the town, let's pick a smaller one, Marlow, right? Okay, and then, okay, everything's gonna work fine as long as that person is involved in town government. But then because they don't have a town administrator, or and other, paid staff, that continuity sort of goes away. But on the other hand, if you embed that possibility in the county, then it doesn't go away, and that is always available.
To me, it's not an either or, it's all of the above. I think it's important for the county to be able to do exactly what it's doing in terms of grants for the county and for the community. However, using Ringe as an example, we have a fire chief who's really good at grant writing. He's been there forever. And I'm sure there are other department heads in other counties who have been there forever who would benefit from these kinds of classes if it were focused on just how towns need to help themselves versus volunteers. Because what I've seen is a lot of people would like to do it, and there are a few departments that are better at it than others.
I will bring this back to Suzanne.
I mean,
But I'm gonna start heading down I am gonna head down the road of exploration.
Good.
Okay. 2 quick things. Next week, we have, our meeting is at County Hall. It's at 8:30. And it would have to be, if everything goes the way it should, it needs to be a quick meeting because, we need to be in Marlboro. Or at least I do, and I think Cheryl should be there too.
I don't have to go, no, I'm just joking.
And
It's already
the
on my calendar.
chief, as Marlboro will be the first town that we one of our primary towns that we go, and I think it's important that one, two, or all, if
I'll be there.
possible, could attend, and just hear the conversation. So that's it. Their meeting starts at 10 o'clock, so we would go from 8:30 to 9:30. We'd break, we'd head to Marlboro, do that meeting. If we got our business done, then we're good. If we didn't, we could come back to County Hall and finish up. But I just want you to know that's when their meeting time is. Also, Dublin has reached out to us and asked if we could attend one of their meetings. Their meetings are every other Monday at 4:30, if I remember exactly. And so we told them the second Monday meeting of the month, which is the
June
16th.
16.
Yeah, it's June 16th. And they want to just hear about our budget. They want to hear about the EMS budget and how things are going overall. So if you would like to attend, I'm just giving the time and the dates so that you can attend. And again, that's the 16th of June at 4:30.
Can I just say something?
You sure can.
As I was mentioning to Chris, the request kind of reminds me of our meeting. Remember you attended with Chris and I in Fitzwilliam, remember years ago as the treasurer, where, I think that on some level, they really want to understand what counties do and what they're getting for services from us. So I think it's gonna be kind of educational. Their focus seems to be on EMS because the town's not participating, want to make sure they're not paying for it. So I think we need to. Have that level of
Even with everything that we're doing, I think you're 100% right. You know, Claudia knows, Terry, you've known because you've been on in the past. People don't have, I mean, I think they're always surprised and pleasantly surprised. Yesterday I talked about 30 people at Covenant Living Community, or how, whatever it is, Covenant Living of Keene, I think it's called. And, you know, I spoke for about 45-50 minutes about what we do. And then I probably had another 15 or 20 questions. And then they brought me to the pub downstairs. We had lunch.
Yeah.
We had lunch, I want to be clear, and they had more questions. And then I headed home after it. But I think they were like, we can't believe that you guys are doing all this. This is great. Thank you so much. And yeah, so I think we just need to continue to educate. These are opportunities when we go into the towns. After these two towns, or sometime in between that, we'll be looking at Harrisville and Westmoreland to speak to. And we'll get those to you next, but I wanted to get the first one out of the way and get going.
Yep, I already started the outreach to the next two, just for the next couple weeks, ideally.
Yeah.
And where are we meeting in Marlboro?
Town hall.
Town hall, which is the police station. It's the back side of the police station,
And they
or the front side. It's within the police station.
And they
Thank
did
you.
reiterate that arriving by 10 would be helpful.
Okay, so if we can get there a little before.
Yeah.
So
You
that's.
reference that off of Doug's dogs,
Yeah,
Yeah, just past on the left.
it's just beyond the north.
yeah. Okay, that's my report for today. Thank you very much for the conversation. I appreciate it. Gives me some guidance. Old business?
I mean, I have a really fast update, I promise.
Sure.
Met with our website developer last week when we were at Primex, and it was a great meeting. It seems like they were really dedicated towards getting us exactly what we want. So I think it's gonna be great, and they've contracted with dozens of counties, actually.
So when
They've
did they
issued on the
start?
website. They've already started their process. I will probably set up a meeting with core department heads with the biggest departments in the next couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks from now, I'd assume. But then the core of the project for them will probably start in July more so.
For any department head, correct me if I'm wrong, if any department head really wants to get an idea of some level of the work, where can they go? So they understand that, you know, it may be the company that you give them, but if you could you know, so
Oh,
that
and
they,
it's
maybe that
example.
could give them some ideas of what, you know.
Yeah, there's a couple good examples. I can't pronounce it. When we were talking
St.
about,
Gordon's?
no, it's Allegheny, Pennsylvania. There's a couple that I can.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
put it in the
yeah,
If you
description
can send that to
online.
the department heads and just explain that we're heading down this road, blah, blah, blah.
See what you like for your own
you know, yeah,
department kind of
and
thing,
any
yeah.
thoughts that, because it's gonna give them thoughts before they have to
Yeah,
actually.
great idea.
All right,
That was all.
all right, any new business? Seeing none, consent agenda items, vote to accept the weekly manifest and minutes of May 7th, 2025.
I'm sorry, do you want me to bring up the response from Treasury?
Yes, but can we get this first?
Yeah.
All right,
I was-
Yes.
yeah, and there's a move, and it was a second, okay. Any changes, any comments? Seeing none, Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart
Yes.
and Commissioner DiBernardo?
Yes.
Okay. Anything on the calendar aside from, hopefully a short meeting next week? If not, then we'll come back and finish up.
Yeah, nothing else coming up. We meet. Location might change there. Forget.
Okay,
Also,
and then, so we do have a non-public, do you need, oh, but Cheryl, and then you, did I miss something? Oh, yeah. Oh, no, to be honest with you, I actually, you know, either one, yeah, okay. Yeah, Visa Solutions and Cheryl, so who wants to go first?
Mine's really quick. This is just a follow-up. As Chris had mentioned in the previous meeting, we did receive a request from Treasury on our ARPA funds for more information regarding premium pay, which I did respond, and a couple days later received an email saying that the response has been received and the request has been closed because they received everything they needed. So I just want to let you know that at least that is closed. I expect as we go along, we'll probably get requests for other things, but the premium pay seemed to be satisfied.
Yeah, they're very clear.
Yeah.
They said cases,
Yeah.
something was closed.
Yeah, it says we are reaching out to notify you that your information document request that we sent on 4/28 is now closed and no additional information or action is required at this time. We appreciate your time and attention in addressing the IDR to remain compliant with Treasury's SLRF award.
and I
So-
did a little bit of research and it seems like that's because they did find some governments that used premium pay incorrectly
Okay,
across the country, but
They
not
didn't
us.
hire a lawyer.
No, they did not. They didn't hire anyone. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
so, well, that's good to know.
yeah. So maybe there won't be any other.
Yeah. All right, and did both want to talk to about Visa Solution where we are currently?
With Visa Solutions, we currently have, contracts with two nurses, two RNs. They are 83 nurses, so they're about 2 years out. We did interviews with two TN nurses. One of them declined our offer, not because of anything about us, but because of some family issues. The other, TN nurse that we interviewed, we had some red flags about and decided not to move forward. I will be emailing my contact person there today and CCing KK and Robin and Sabrina and everybody into it. Just asking him, where are all of these TN nurses you promised me? Because you said there were so many people ready to come to work for us and we have no interview scheduled at this point, and it's radio silence. I also want to find out why we got that email, Chris. We should not have gotten that email.
Okay,
These are the Canadians.
They are, well, these two nurses, I think, are, in the Philippines.
They're not TNs, it's all.
They're not TNs, they're 83s, but, we're just, we're trying to navigate the process. I am, a little disheartened based on what was promised to us and what we're actually getting. I mean, granted, we've got two nurses signed on that are gonna come to us 2 years from now, which we'll need, but, I want nurses in 3 to 6 months. So, I'll next week let you know what their
Maybe they
response
don't wanna
is.
come to the US.
According to him, they're chomping at the bit to come to our location,
Well,
so,
that was a while ago.
yeah. So,
Trump stole. God, don't let from.
I didn't say.
I did.
It's on the record, can I quote it?
Quite all right.
Anyway,
Hey, the meeting being recorded.
so what we're gonna, the process is continuing
It
as far
is,
as.
we still have open doors with them and
Okay,
they're, you know, they do schedule interviews when they have nurses. But Julian, who handles all of the ED3s, is the one that has really been more active with us, not Angel, who handles all of the TNs. So, I want to find out what's going on with that.
okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. So we do have, some non-publics today. One is for, one is, oh, Eli, you have something?
Yeah, sorry I joined you a little late, but I was at the Kiwanis before. I just want to give a quick update on the infrastructure, if that's okay.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
So we are moving pretty fast along the project. We're scheduled probably to be completed sometime between September and October. That means a full switch on of the new system with the second channel up and running, which will be a huge improvement for the county and our public safety for the officers now on the road, which means a whole entire new radio state-of-the-art system,
Telecommunication. Yeah,
completely all new equipment, new antennas with a new site going up in Harrisville, which we're very excited about. So that's all good news. The other thing, I'm a little disappointed when Chris was talking about the bike rodeo. You forgot to mention about the ice cream trailer and Eli in the dog outfit,
sorry, man.
you forgot to mention that we were there.
I didn't
Well,
see you in the dog outfit, so I don't know if that really happened.
Yeah.
But I did see the ice cream going fast, and that is, they have this little ice cream truck thing that I've stolen ice cream out of before.
Oh, no, we
But,
had it there too. We brought our little trailer out there. We get about 300 pieces of ice cream and popsicles, and I had my little mascot outfit on while we were there too. But
you had your canine guy there too.
yeah, he
You
was
had your
there, which
deputy there with yeah.
is a great community event and a great opportunity to kind of have a positive engagement with the community. But I just want to give an update on that big project we have going on. We're right now moving very fast with it and taking advantage of the warm temperature and getting out there and getting these projects done. We still kind of the one that's kind of hasn't, we're still working with Marlboro, but everything else is good to go and on track. So I just want to give you an update on
Can
that.
you do me a favor as it gets close to that day? Can we start putting together a press release so that, and because we may want to take somebody from the Sentinel out to take some pictures of the site so people get an idea of what it looks like, whatever it may be, or, if we can or whatever, but I think we should at least do some level of press release. You can coordinate that with, Davis. That would be great. And
Yeah, absolutely.
credit those that have done such hard work on it.
Absolutely.
Like,
We got pictures of the old, how it looked before and how it looks now. So it will show the difference. So.
Okay, thank you. And I'll work on remembering when you're in an outfit and I'll get a picture of it so that we can document.
And I don't know, speeding has been pretty slow down in range. I just want to pass that on.
I think Rachel's doing a good job.
Eli, there is the opportunity on June 21st for you to be in uniform, deputy dog uniform.
I
Where?
already talked to him about it. At the big fundraiser we're doing, I talked to you about it. The Touch a Truck and Cornhole Tournament.
At Monadnock Regional High School.
Oh.
We'll make sure you're aware or
All right,
remember.
I think I think I wrote it down somewhere, but just send it to me again.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Yeah, we were just had Tiny Tummies this past weekend too.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so, two non-publics, first non-public is, under RSA 91-A:3 and the second one, I think they both actually fall underneath.
I
Right.
remember what the second
Yeah,
one
That's
was.
what I put in
I
my,
don't, see, I don't either. I know what mine is.
I know,
Oh, so.
I know what both of yours are.
Okay.
If you,
so, all right, so I think we're good.
Do we go
I think you
into
just have to enter
non-session?
once and.
Non-public session.
So it would be under dismissal, promotion, or compensation. And so I would need a roll call vote, so, Commissioner Clark.
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart.
Yes.
Commissioner DiBernardo.
Yes.
Okay, we'll wait a second, so you,
Record. Commissioners just, met in non-public session under RSA 91A:3 discussion on two topics. Two votes were taken. One vote was taken to terminate a Department of Corrections employee. Another vote was taken to approve a pay procedure for supporting recovery at the Department of Correction.
Second,
all right. Any other questions, thoughts? Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
and Commissioner DiBernardo.
yes.
All righty. Is there any other business to come before us this morning? I know you have serving duties.
Mine's at 6, so I gotta come back later.
Mine's at
Okay.
11:30.
Mine's at
Go get it now.
Well, that's why you didn't come in this morning, huh?
No, my granddaughters are here from Oklahoma.
Oh.
So they flew in on Saturday and they're leaving on Saturday.
How's
So,
your food- How's your food bill?
Oh, yeah.
well, you know, only two of the three came. So I'm still holding my own. We're going to go miniature golfing in a little bit.
Oh, good. All right, well, thank you all. Then, seeing other motion, other issues come before us, we are adjourned.